and to bring success to the team and to satisfy all the people who love Arsenal.
When you came, what state was the club in?
As you know well, Jonathan, football has changed in the last 20 years, and we have changed as well.
It's a total revolution in quality of football and culture. I mean, there was a drinking culture at the club, let's be very clear about it. And the older boys, if you ask Tony Adams and Martin Keown and David Seaman, he's actually prolonged their careers by the fact that they now realise they have to look after their bodies.
You know, the fear at the start when he came in, I don't know if you found that, but he was such a nice guy that I remember going home and saying, do nice guys win things?
We all know he has this, you know, placid and cerebral and humorous exterior, which is great to be around. But he also has a slightly Machiavellian streak inside him. There's a bit of a raging bull inside Arsene Wenger, I think.
I remember people said a foreign coach can never be successful in England. You know, it was a skeptical attitude, and of course I wanted to show that I can never be successful and have an impact, and I had already a little good experience because I had managed 10 years in France, 2 years in Japan, so 12 years at the top level. I was coming to a club who had all to build, and it was a very exciting period, in fact.
Tony Adams! Oh, what a finish! What a way to clinch the championship!
How special was that first cup final? It completed the double.
It was at the old Wembley, and that makes a big difference, you know, because I have seen the first cup finals at the old Wembley, and for me that was nearly a dream. And to walk out there at Wembley with the tradition, walk your team out is something exceptional, I would say. The first time you do that, it's really unbelievable.
Looking for Anelka. Oh, the flag stays down. Can Anelka take it on from here? Nicholas Anelka! Oh, Arsenal have got 2-0. Is that going to clinch the double?
I honestly think Arsene Wenger would have surprised himself in a sense by winning both, by doing the double in his very first season in English football.
The cynics at the start of the season, including myself, were asking questions about the foreigners, too many foreigners on the side, and questions about the French coach himself.
We didn't know who he was, really, did we?
Well, those questions have been answered emphatically.
Nicholas Anelka scored that day. You were like a mentor to him and for other players that came afterwards. Thierry Henry, of course, came in, the golden one, really, the one that you'd known when you were at Monaco, and Pires, and you were globalising Arsenal. Was that always in your plan?
Yes, I thought, you know, if a player is good enough and he has a good mentality, why not give him a chance? And I think when you're a young boy, you dream to become a star. You don't look at your passport. You just hope that somebody will notice that you're good and will give you a chance.
When I came to Europe, he was like a father to me, not only a coach. He monitored everything I do in Monaco. I follow his example. He made me a good man. So I'll give him this because he deserves this more than I do. Thanks, Mr. Coach, for everything.
I'm always been for a society based on merit and quality, and not too much on passport.
Do you remember that time he came in? I think we were losing at home, and he didn't say anything for 14 minutes. And then he drew 2 bits of chalk on the board and a line and went, when we start to play second half, come on, clapped, and walked out. And we all went, we went out in the second half and won 3-1.
Yeah.
And we all went, how did he do that?
2002, another double winning year. What was the most satisfying? The fact you wrapped the title up at Old Trafford, all that cup final against Chelsea.
Chelsea was the upcoming team who had the top quality, and we needed something, especially when Ray Parlour scored on the day. So overall, I would say yes, it was a fantastic season, and maybe the most difficult to cup final to win of all of them, with the Man United one in 2005. But it was an exceptional week.
Lundberg. On the left-hand side here, Lundberg and Henry. Lundberg's going himself. Freddie Lundberg has curved one. Oh, another wonderful goal for Arsenal.
After that 2002 double, Tony Adams retired and Lee retired, Lee Dixon. How important were they to you as a man?
I had a big respect for them because these guys were, as I told you, the old generations of football players. You will not always convinced during the week they will deliver a great game, because they took sometimes the training easier, especially Tony Adams, but on Saturday they turned up.
Everyone else just let Tony get on with doing what he's doing as long as he was playing it. Wenger came in and literally helped him. So, you know, I speak to Tony, Tony would say he saved his life.
He's a very loyal man, fiercely loyal. He's proved it in his dealings with his clubs, and he's also fiercely loyal with his players. He defends them in every circumstance.
It was sad to lose all this generation, because there were men, you know, you could rely on, and were ready for a fight. They knew the English Championship, and they were mature.
The final of 2003. And there's Lundberg with a chance for Arsenal. Goal!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the FA Cup 2003.
Our consistency in this competition has been superb. We're either top or we're second. We want to keep that going, and I think the manager, since he's been here, has been fantastic.
We were very, very close to a double-double. And if you look at the last 2 seasons, we won twice the cup and won the championship and runners-up. Considering the opposition and the opponents you have here, it's not bad.
The Invincibles year, had you created the best team in the world? The Thierry Henry scoring goals for fun?
Yeah, they scored for fun. At the time you don't notice, you think it's normal that you win the games, but with the distance, of course, when you look at all the players we had created an exceptional team.
I wanted to say something about Arsène Wenger, because without him I wouldn't have been playing for Arsenal or being here, because when I first arrived a lot of people were doubting, you know, my ability, and without Arsène having a lot of confidence in me, I wouldn't have been here tonight, so I just owe him a lot.
Since he made me come into the club, he changed me in the way that he made me believe in my quality, in myself, make me work really hard, make me improve as a player, but as a human being as well.
When you beat Manchester United on the spot kick, I felt Manchester United probably had more of the play that day. You'll disagree, but did you feel...
No, I wouldn't disagree. Really? I think that's the final we won, but we did not deserve to win at all. It was a cup we won with luck, and it was the symbol on the day is that Patrick Vieira scores the penalty, who wins us a cup, and it's his last kick for Arsenal football.
I think the hardest thing is always that after you change that team, bring 4 or 5 new guys in, he does it spending less money than anybody else.
No Arsenal fan will accept a step backwards now, I don't think. We've really become spoilt by what we've seen, and the people really, really have a taste for it now.
Will there be a statue going up there one day?
I think they're already starting to build it.
I've just been privileged to be alongside him for 10 years, for a lot of the 10 years anyway, and he's a remarkable man. He's got an amazing intellect.
Another 10 years out of him, do you think, at Highbury?
Well, everybody hopes so.
Then the doldrum years, the 9 years without a trophy. Why did that happen?
It happened for simple reasons, very simple reasons, and I think that was the most difficult period of my life, but as well where maybe I did the best work.
I think where some of the fans are a little bit upset that money hasn't been spent.
What about Arsene's philosophy then of this free-flowing, attacking football? Should he reassess that?
You know, no one ever questioned it when they were winning all those competitions.
One thing they've done here at the Emirates is they've put all the trophies they won around the top, but you can see it stops in 2005, nothing since then.
Clearly he is tremendously driven, and there must be things that happened in his childhood that meant that he, you know, has this need to try and create beautiful football. But I think that what drives him is that need rather than winning.
You know, he is a specialist in failure. I'm not.
2006 to 2014, we had restricted finances, we had to sell our best players, and we had to maintain at the top. We had to be in the Champions League, and we had to make at least 54,000 average attendance to pay back our debt.
You ask Alex Ferguson or Jose Mourinho or the Arsene Wenger of 2000 or 97 or 2004, Had you fancy coming third and fourth for 12 years and they'd have laughed at you?
I must say I did sweat more than ever during these years, and it was the most difficult period of my life. And if you give me the challenge today again, I tell you, no, thank you very much, let somebody else do it. We live in a society where it's always very categorical, dismissive, and I'm just interested in doing quality work every day and let other people judge that. And but as well, I believe a strong club is people who make decisions, who make the right decisions. And what has gone wrong in a modern society, it's not anymore, is this the right decision, but is this popular or not popular? Is to buy this player popular or not popular? Is to sack this manager, is to employ this manager popular or not popular? That has nothing to do with competence. People have responsibility, have to make the right decision, and today maybe more than ever, be strong enough to make decisions who are not popular. The more expensive a player is, the more credit he gets. Nobody looks, can he dribble, can he pass, can he kick the ball? No. Oh, if he has costs 150 million, he must be absolutely exceptional. But I think we have to keep it simple and just make the right decisions.
Did the two later cup final successes, Hull, you're 2-0 down in 10 minutes, could have been 3, and the Villa romp, it was a fantastic display. Did that rekindle that whole love affair?
It did. I think we won the trophy again, you know, because when you don't win for a while and you had the success we had before, everybody says, where are the trophies? But I believe that against Villa was the final you dream to have, because you don't concede a goal, you score 4 goals. After 20-30 minutes you could see that we were by far the better team. And against Hull it was completely reversed. It's the nightmare final, because we were 2-0 down, we were shaky, nervous, because we had absolutely to win. We came back in the game.
Who steps over the ball? Ramsey! And Ramsey scores! In added time here! And the first trophy for 9 years for Arsène Wenger.
And Ramsey scored the 3. Got us that first trophy we haven't won for a while. So on the night, I must say it was just a relief.
The fans are unhappy anyway. Well, that's being polite, isn't it? They are fuming.
We put up with this for 12 years. If they give him a 2-year deal, yeah, I'm not coming Arsenal no more. I'm sick of it, man. You hear? It's turning. It's turning, blood.
This season, the pressure's been back on again. Your hardest season, some of the criticism, Arsene, has been vitriolic,
I would say,
personal.
you know, you don't mind criticism because we are in a public job. The lack of respect in some stage has been, for me, a disgrace, and I will never accept that. And I believe there's a difference between being criticized and being treated in a way that human beings don't deserve to be treated, and I will never forget that.
There are some people who have admired everything you've done here, Arsene, and would think that seeing you lifting the FA Cup at Wembley would be kind of like a beautiful farewell. Does that go through your mind at all?
No. I want to win the cup for my club, and that's all I care about. It's not about me. I know that I meet so many people who love this club and who I share the passion for the club. I just think you cannot do anything, and it's not my person that is hurt. It's, for me, it's the image I love to see of Arsenal Football Club all over the world, and I don't believe that that kind of behavior reflects what Arsenal is and the values that Arsenal carries through.
Is this as enjoyable a build-up to as enjoyable a day for you as the first cup final was?
Yes, of course, because what is the beauty in life is that to share something with people around you, share emotions, share preparation, share excitement, and have a collective target to reach. And overall, I believe that that is, of course, something exceptional. That will always be exactly the same. Why? Because you don't know what will happen during the game. Why? Because football is unpredictable, and nobody can predict what happens at 5:30. Attitude, and of course I wanted to show that I can be successful and have an impact, and I had already a little good experience because I had managed 10 years in France, 2 years in Japan, so 12 years at the top level. I was coming to a club who had all to build, and it was a very exciting period, in fact.
Tony Adams! Oh, what a finish! What a way to clinch the championship!
Yeah, unbelievable.
Looking for Anelka. Oh, the flag stays down. Can Anelka take it on from here? Nicholas Anelka! Oh, Arsenal have got 2-0. Is that going to clinch the double?
I honestly think Arsene Wenger would have surprised himself in a sense by winning both, by doing the double in his very first season in English football.
The cynics at the start of the season, including myself, were asking questions about the foreigners, too many foreigners in the side, and questions about the French coach himself.
We didn't know who he was, really, did we?
Well, those questions have been answered.
And to bring success to the team and to satisfy all the people who love Arsenal.
When you came, what state was the club in?
As you know well, Jonathan, football has changed in the last 20 years, and we have changed as well.
It's a total revolution in quality of football and culture. I mean, there was a drinking culture at the club, let's be very clear about it. And the older boys, if you ask Tony Adams and Martin Keown and David Seaman, he's actually prolonged their careers by the fact that they now realise they have to look after their bodies.
You know, the fear at the start when he came in, I don't know if you found that, but he was such a nice guy that I remember going home and saying, do nice guys win things?
We all know he has this, you know, placid and cerebral and humorous exterior, which is great to be around. But he also has a slightly Machiavellian streak inside him. There's a bit of a raging bull inside Arsène Wenger, I think.
I remember people said a foreign coach can never be successful in England, you know. It was skeptical.
How special was that first cup final? It completed the double.
It was at the old Wembley, and that makes a big difference, you know, because I have seen the first cup finals at the old Wembley, and for me that was nearly a dream. And to walk out there at Wembley with the tradition, walk your team out is something exceptional, I would say. The first time you do that, it's really